And we're back. Big Deke News is back. Apologies, it's been about a week. More than a week, actually. But as you could tell, I don't need glasses anymore. I can see without them. Actually went through with LASIK eye surgery last weekend, and it's been great. It's been amazing. But I did think it would be for the better if I took it easy on my eyes for this first week out. I still did the podcast, but I thought if I combine that with doing Big Deke News, where I'm looking into these bright white lights, the screens, the editing, also with the Deke Gaming, I just thought that might not be wise. So we're here. I'm feeling great. I hope you guys understand. I just did what's best for me and my family. But it pained me just as much as you guys not making the content because we had good momentum on the channel. We also had a bunch of breaking news that happened throughout the week. Big time news. Lost Terrell Edmunds. Replaced him with Keanu Neal. Signed some guys in the trenches. Brought back Zach Gentry. So trust me, I wanted to do the content. But also shout out to you guys because I did get a lot of people reaching out, just checking in, saying, yo, where you at? Missed the content, this and that. So you guys must like me. You must really like me. So where do we begin? I think it'd be stupid to just try to talk about every little thing that happened over the last week. Instead, why don't we break the content up into pieces and focus on like different aspects or like kind of dig deep into like a certain topic. So for this one, I thought it'd be the smartest to start off with the safety swap. We lose Terrell Edmunds, but we bring in a Keanu Neal. Edmunds left, I believe it was like a week ago, wasn't it? Last weekend, signed with the Eagles on a one-year deal, $2 million worth more with some incentives and whatnot. And initially, I was pissed off. Because Edmunds initially, the last video I did, Edmunds said goodbye to Steeler Nation. We just didn't know what team he was signing with and what type of contract he was going to get. So that all came out since then. My reaction was confusion, pissed off, especially learning at the money that Edmunds signed for. Like, why couldn't the Steelers offer him something competitively or something, if not more? But Khan later said in the week that the Steelers did offer him a deal, implying that it was somewhere in that range, but Edmunds ended up siding with the Eagles instead. I think it's just one of those things. If Edmunds didn't want to come back to the Steelers and we actually did offer him a competitive deal, what can you do? And I wouldn't blame Edmunds for that completely because he already did this rodeo last year where he came back on a prove-it deal and then look where it got him, signing for another prove-it deal. Because, if he came back here, it's one of those things like fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice.
Fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
But again, losing Edmunds just sucked because you're losing a guy that started 75 games over the last 5 years. Good compliment to Minka, Mr. Reliable, all these things that we've talked about ad nauseum. Because the safety market, if you compare Edmunds to some of the other guys, is he better or worse? I don't know. It could be close with like an Adrian Amos or a John Johnson and whatnot. But at least we were familiar with Edmunds. We let him go. That leaves uncertainty. What are we going to do next? But then Tomlin in the coaches' meetings addressed that we were going to pick up a safety in free agency or the draft, so we just didn't know who that was going to be.
Playing safety that Terrell's gone. It's in development. Like I mentioned the other day, the free agency process is still ongoing, and our draft prep is going well, and so we're going to add to that bunch, certainly, by what means is to be determined. But there's some credible candidates out there in both pools.
It had us thinking about some of the veteran free agent safeties I just referred to, or in the draft, does that have Brian Branch in serious play for us at 17, or maybe in the second or third, grabbing Antonio Johnson or a Jordan Battle? But we made our decision, and that is signing a veteran free agent safety. Because on Thursday, the Steelers signed former Falcons, Cowboys, and Bucks safety Keanu Neal. The monetary values haven't been expressed yet, but I can't imagine this one breaking the bank. With us already signing DeMonte Casey be our starting safety, he's getting $3 million per year, so it can't be more than that. And then Neal signed with the Bucks last year on a 1-year deal for $1.2 million. So he's probably looking for a little bit more security with it being a 2-year deal. And then Edmunds signing to Philly on a 1-year, $2 million deal. So it's probably in that range, probably like 2 years, $4 to $5 million. From my standpoint, this is an absolute fantastic move because it's for all the same reasons you're bringing back Terrell Edmunds. Keanu Neal can play different roles. He can play safety, but also linebacker. But the upgrade over Edmunds in this category is Keanu Neal actually played linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys. Whereas with Edmunds, we constantly were speculating about it. Oh, is he going to switch to being an LB full-time or play it more and more? We don't have any questions about this because Keanu Neal has already done it. Another reason is Neal is a short tackler. Same thing with Edmunds, and a reason why we would have liked to have him back because he was averaging over 80 tackles per season. But it's arguable that Neal is even better than Edmunds. Has had over 100 tackle seasons when healthy, and Edmunds ain't laying dudes out like this. And then the last reason is you're bringing in a veteran guy that knows what he's doing. Again, that's why we would have liked to have Edmunds back because he was in the system for 5 years and was just a damn good player, improved year in, year out. But again, I would say Neal is better than Edmunds at doing that, being a veteran, because he's older, has more experience, but also more playoff experience or meaningful experience because he's been to a Super Bowl, also has been to a Pro Bowl. Those are things that Edmunds doesn't have on his resume. But even with that experience, Neal is still young, going to be 28 for this upcoming season, and has a connection to the starting safety that I mentioned that we did sign, DeMonte Casey, because he was teammates with him throughout outside of last season because Casey and Neal were teammates in Atlanta. And then whenever Casey went to the Cowboys, Neal also went to the Cowboys. It was just this last season where they were apart. Neal was with the Bucks, Casey was with the Steelers. So that's got to be a boost to the defensive chemistry, right? And it's being reported that the Steelers view this Neal signing as more of a depth move, which is 100% fine. That's all we were looking for with whoever we brought in to be that third safety because you already paid Casey to be the Batman. And actually, the more I'm thinking about it, maybe that's one of the reasons why Edmunds left. Like if he were to come back here, he would have taken on a diminished role because obviously we prioritized Casey over Edmunds in free agency. Maybe Casey was supposed to be the starting strong safety for this upcoming year. But who knows? This is just speculation. We paid Casey to be the Batman. So whatever, actually no, Minka's the Batman. Casey would be Robin. I guess whatever new safety we brought in would be Nightwing. Either way, Keanu Neal is gonna play. Like he could be listed as the third safety, but he's gonna be doing so many different things on the field because that's what he was doing last year with the Bucks, and he was productive doing it. 63 tackles, also had a pick. But, I mean, that's exactly what we're looking for out of if we would have brought back Terrell Edmunds, but also now a Keanu Neal. Like, hey, we might need you to play box safety, inside linebacker for a few formations. Hey, we might move Casey up to the slot. We're going to need you to just take on that traditional strong safety role. Cool, he could do that too. We need you to blitz. Cool, he could do that. So, yeah, I think this was a no-brainer move. I don't think there's really a negative thing you could say. The one con you could say with Keanu Neal and his past history is just there's been some injuries, but over these last 3 seasons, he has stayed pretty healthy. I think he's only missed a total of 4 games over the last 3 seasons. But for the player we're getting, at the contract he's presumably going to get, and at a position that we need, what else can you be asking for? And, like if we would have brought back Edmunds, this just frees up us with options heading into the draft. Now we don't need to draft a safety in the first 3 or 4 rounds. If there's one that's really good and we really like, he's the best player available, sure, but we don't have to reach now. So clearly I am a big fan of this move, and it's looking to be the silver lining for us losing Terrell Edmunds, and if you dig a little deeper, could just be a straight up upgrade. Reminds me of the parable that Tom Brady has talked about with the Chinese farmer, where the Chinese farmer says to his friend, one of my horses ran away. And the friend says to the farmer, oh, that's terrible news. But then the farmer says, maybe, because you don't know. The next day, the horse brought back a couple of other new horses to the farm. And then the friend says to the farmer, oh, that's great news. Then the Chinese farmer says, maybe. And then the next day, you get what I'm saying. It's just something happens. Our initial reaction is one way or another, but you got to see how it plays out. So with Terrell Edmunds, yeah, I was pissed whenever we lost him. But as time has gone on and this played out, it could be a good thing. But let me know if you guys think this was a good thing, the safety swap of Terrell Edmunds for Keanu Neal. Down in the comments, you guys enjoy your weekend on this fine Saturday in Pittsburgh. This is amazing weather. I might hit the links. But thank you again for your support. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for understanding the week layoff. But again, enjoy your weekend. Stay chilling. Peace.